Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Jay. And this is Jay's Quick 3. Now, for those of you that have never heard this and don't know what this is, which is probably everyone because I've never put this out for everyone to hear, but it's just a time that I take to talk about some things that's on my mind, some things I want to discuss, get off my chest. And I thought it'd be a good idea to put it out there. Maybe some people may feel the same way. Maybe some people may disagree, but we can kind of chat about it. So, what I want to talk about this week, it's been in the news, it's been all over social media. Oh, I was trying so hard to avoid this topic, but I don't really have a choice. It's out there. So, number 3, we're going to talk about Robert a little bit. So, Robert Kelly was arrested, I want to say last week. He turned himself in. So, last Friday, he turned himself in because he was charged with 10 counts of aggravated criminal abuse, sexual abuse. And, he turned himself in, stayed there until Monday or Tuesday when I don't know who this person is, a friend of his decided to give him the $100,000 he needed to make bail, or not bail, but bond him out because his bail was set at $1 million. So this person who he had just met 5 months ago apparently was so compelled and so just knew that he was in such dire need of this $100,000 that she decided to go ahead and pay for that. Or she said it wasn't her money. She wouldn't discuss where the money came from, but she facilitated it. So she had something to do with it. Apparently his team or people was saying that, he was planning on getting out by Thursday. So, either he doesn't have the money that people think he has, or I don't know. If you had the money, I would think that you wouldn't willingly want to sit in jail for 4 to 5 days. But, obviously we know Robert is into some stuff, so who knows what's going through his mind. Anyway, she bailed him out, or he bonded out. And he made arrangements. Somebody from his team thought it would be a great idea to have a sit down with Gayle King on her show, CBS This Morning. Now, the gag about this whole thing is this man got on national TV and cried and hollered and screamed and jumped up, and he was just so irate because everybody is against him. Everybody's telling lies. None of this stuff is true. Things happened in his past, and he beat this case, so he doesn't understand why people are bringing this stuff up again. He's not holding anybody hostage. It was just a bunch of stuff. I'm not getting too deep into the interview. You feel free to watch it on CBS On Demand, or I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. But my, thought on this whole thing is that, and I've heard other people talk about it, yes, he does need help. It's clear from watching the interview that he is crying out for some kind of help, because clearly he is delusional. Clearly he doesn't see that he's doing anything wrong. The thing is, no, as the public, no, we're not there. We're not at his house. We haven't been with him all these years to know exactly what's going on. We're going off the words of some ladies and some young ladies and kind of older ladies now that have, maybe were younger when this happened to them. But I wouldn't say they're too old. They're probably like the oldest is probably in their 30s or something like that. But we can only go off their word. But I can say this. I know what R. Kelly looks like. I knew what R. Kelly looked like 20 years ago. And I saw the tape. Unfortunately, I was one of the people that actually saw the VHS tape that somebody from my job had, and we ended up watching it. And I know what R. Kelly looks like. I know what his house, the inside of his house looks like, because right, was it before or after? It's been so long, I don't remember, but BET did a special showing his house. He did an interview inside his house showing off all these things he had there, and those were the exact rooms that were in this video. So even if I didn't believe anything else that anyone said, I know Robert Kelly was in that video with that young girl, because we're not blind and we know what he looks like. So that is enough to know that he's not being honest, to know he's not telling the truth, and to know he's delusional, because he at some point said it was his brother or something like that. So, that man, he does need help, but as far as I'm concerned, lock him up, throw away the key. I know he will not get the therapy maybe he needs in jail, but maybe they can arrange something where he can get some kind of help, but he definitely needs to pay for the things that he's done. And the time is up now. Like, whatever he was paying people off, and all those people, by the way, need to go to jail as well. All his enablers, all these people's so-called guardians, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, sisters, whoever, these people who thought that it was to the benefit of, I don't know who, themselves, to get this hush money to not protect these young girls and not protect their innocence and not want to fight for their justice, because you got what, a couple $100,000, maybe a couple mil. I mean, I don't know. What did they do? Pay your house off? Did they clear your debt? Like, what amount of money equals the justice of a young black girl's life? Because I'm still trying to figure that out. Uncles, moms, dads, cousins, grown people that are running with R. Kelly and his camp, that's seeing these things happen and just turning a blind eye to it. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And you know what? We don't have time to get into it because this is supposed to be quick. So as far as I'm concerned, right after that interview, he tried to go pay some child support or something like that. He owed 161. He tried to give the judge 50,000. Judge said, no, that's not going to work. So back to jail you go. So as far as I'm concerned, he can stay there. So that's all I have to say about that. So we're going to number two. Number two, really quick. So watching this interview with Gayle King, she interviewed his two girlfriends, Jocelyn and I want to say is Azriel or something like that. And I mean, again, you guys can go watch this interview, and if you've seen it, there's nothing about anything that they said that convinces me that they are telling the truth. I feel like whatever it is, you can call it brainwashed, you can call it stupidity, you can even call it could be seriously a mental issue. It's kind of like battered woman syndrome. Like, why do women stay with men that are being abusive to them? It's something about that certain relationship, something where they feel guilty or they feel like they really are helping this person, and it causes them to not think clearly, and they feel like if they leave this person, he's going to crumble, or it's going to be their fault if he takes his life, or whatever it is. But it could be something like that. I don't know. I just know these girls are really fighting to try to make it seem like Robert is not the monster that he is. And the sad part about it is they're 21 and 23, and it's not much anybody can do, even their parents can do. And I know it's hard to watch as a parent, as a guardian, to see your child going through something like this and not being able to help them, because they have to be able to want to help themselves. But they are of age, unfortunately, and there's nothing really anyone can do if they don't want to press charges and they don't want to speak out. So as sad as it is, it's nothing that anyone can do about it. So, I pray for their family. I pray for them that they can maybe come to their senses. And I hope that they're not enduring any of this abuse and things that we've heard that he's done to these other girls and women that he's had at his house. Like, I don't know. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. So this leads me to number one. Now, I frequent Twitter, and I happen to be on the Twitterverse today, and I saw something from a celebrity. I'm not going to put that celebrity out there just because why, but it's what the celebrity said that made me kind of scratch my temple, because I don't understand what the thought process is behind this. But this person says, it's disturbing to watch Black people pounce on other Black people when they are already down, guilty or not. But when it comes to holding other races accountable for their horrific actions, I hear crickets. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Operate through love and compassion. Now, let's unpack this for a second. I do not understand for the life of me why we have celebrities that come out and say these things from their own mouths or through their own fingertips, because this was typed, and then get bent out of shape when people come for them or drag them or have something to say. And then they either get upset and start lashing out at people, or they kind of walk it back and say, well, that's not really what I meant. You guys are taking this out of context of what I'm saying. My thing is, why say anything? Like, if you have, people are entitled to their opinion. Yes, they are. People can say whatever it is they want to say, and that's true. And I'm not saying you have to censor yourself in order to speak your mind, but you need to A, know who your audience is, and B, be able to read the room. And right now, with all this R. Kelly stuff that's going on, you saying something like this makes it seem, because later on in this tweet, as she was getting dragged, she was like, I'm not even talking about R. Kelly, I'm just talking about in general. You have to understand, when you make a tweet like this today, after we've seen the doc on him, and that's been all over the place, and as we've just seen this Gayle interview, and people are talking about that's a hot topic after he's been arrested twice. Who else would you think that we're talking about, or you're talking about, when you make this tweet? And why are you getting upset that people are thinking that you're talking about him? Because guess what? You probably are. So I'm just going to say this. It's disturbing to watch Black people pounce on other Black people when they are already down, guilty or not. But when it comes to holding other races accountable for their horrific actions, I hear crickets. I cannot stand when people do stuff like this, for the simple fact that these are two separate situations. And at what point or what rule is it that I don't know about that we can't hold Black people accountable because they're Black? Or we can't hold Black people accountable because no one else is holding white people accountable? That didn't make sense to me. Like, I don't even understand how that works. Even, I don't know what white people she's talking about, but I know like Harvey Weinstein is going through some stuff, and Kevin Spacey, I believe, has some allegations against him. And I'm pretty sure there's hundreds and thousands of more of these people out here like that. My thing is, if we're speaking on, just say Robert, he actually did bad things. We know he did bad things. He needs to go to jail. Now, do I hope that they pay for what they've done too? Yes. Both of those things can be true, but I'm not going to wait to hold R. Kelly accountable because he's Black, because there's not enough tweets going on about Kevin Spacey. That doesn't make much sense to me. Like, I keep saying it to make it make sense to me, because it really doesn't. Like, I just don't get it. I just feel like we have to be able to hold people accountable, and people have to actually take responsibility for it. And when you say things like that, it kind of feels like you're giving this person an excuse or an out to not take responsibility, because you hear crickets when it's dealing with other races. Now, I don't know if she's talking about other white people or other Hispanic people. That part, it really doesn't matter, but we cannot continue to negate what he's done, and he has to face the music, and that's it. The end, period. Like there's no but, there's no what about these other people. Let's deal with what is in front of us. And right now he's in a position where he can be held accountable. I keep saying we, like I'm a part of this prosecution or something like that, which I'm not, but he's in a position where he can finally be held accountable. Those of us who have lived through the last court case that he's had, that he swore up and down that he beat, which, by the way, was just a child porn case. Now, it was a big case. It was 14 counts, if I'm not mistaken, of child pornography that he beat. And the only reason he beat that is because they couldn't get the young lady that was in the video to step up and say she was. And they couldn't get the parents to step up and say she was in it. So he quote unquote beat this case. That has nothing to do. That doesn't prove that he was not sleeping with underage girls. So the fact that he keeps crying about how he beat this case and why are people bringing up his past? I mean, he just does not like. Who is explaining this stuff to him? Because he's on national TV, is playing all over the internet, and he's really trying to plead his case on something that has no foundation. It just makes no sense. And yes, it is hurtful, I guess, in some way, that there's a mob mentality that would beat someone while they're down. But here's the thing. In this case, R. Kelly has had ample amount of time to right his wrongs, to pay his debt to society, to confess, to stand up and do the right thing. And he has not. And people have given him mercy. People have given him passes. He's paid off these people. It's enough of it. It's enough of it. So no, I don't care that he's crying. No, I don't care that people are jumping on him, jumping on the bandwagon or beating him while he's down. I don't care. He needs to pay for what he's done. And that's the end of it. Point blank, the period. I'm done with it. So I ran a little long. I can talk about this all day long, but that's not the point of what I'm doing. I just want to talk about 3 things really quickly, and I apologize for going over. So I would love to hear what other people have to say. You may not like it. Maybe some of you do agree. Hit me up at jboogforshow@gmail.com. JBOOG, the number 4, SHO @gmail.com. You can also hit me up on Twitter. Same name, jboogforshow on Twitter. And just let me know what you think. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I will holler at you next time. Peace.